Have y'all been listening to our episodes and going back and going, damn, I wish I had said this
every day.
I'm like, ooh, this would have been a great comment to put.
As many times as I think of that, what things I would have said, I hear stuff that I don't remember saying.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm like,
yeah.
Oh man, that was great. That came out of my mouth. That sounds sort of intelligent.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Wayback Chronicles podcast. My name is Keith Abbott, and I'm here with two of my lifelong friends, Steve McKilkey and Noel Kirsch.
And in this episode is what's going to be our season 1 recap. So we started this podcast in, what was it, early December? Was that right, guys?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we're going to sort of recap some of the highs and lows, sort of the learnings from this first season. And how's that sound, guys?
I like it.
Let's do it.
It's amazing. It's been that long. Like, it doesn't seem. I remember we talked about this though for a while. I mean, it took us a while to land on the concept. If you've never created a podcast before, I mean, the sky's the limit. It's pretty much a blank canvas that you start with, and you kind of have to think about, well, what are we going to talk about? Well, is anybody else talking about it? Or how are they talking about it? What's their format like? And then, oh wait, we got to come up with a name. What are we going to call it? Oh wait, there's a million of them out there, and that name happens to be taken. Let's think of something else. And it's like, if you, like I said, if you've never done this before, first of all, try to do it. It's fun. It really is. It is. I really enjoyed this. It's a side project, something that we're clearly going to be billionaires before this is all done. But it's just I look forward to this time with you guys. I look forward to the topic. Certainly been in thoroughly enjoying this. The guests we've had on have been great. I've been amazed at the things that we've learned through this and kind of where this journey has taken us. It's been a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Absolutely. It's hard to believe that even though we started in the middle of December, this is episode 22 already. So we have already done 22. And yeah, what Noel is talking about is not only are we going to recap a few things on this episode, but we do have a little bit of change that we're going to be doing for season 2. And Noel alluded to that we are not only in this last season, the three of us introduced each other and did a little bit of an interview between our years. Well, we're going to kind of continue that concept, but we have decided to bring in special guests, people who are listeners of the show, who interact with us on their Facebook page, and who really have a great sense of happiness for nostalgia. And so that's what Noel is introducing to and alluding to, is we've had some great interviews already, and I am really excited for that to even start in season 2. I think it's going to be something that all of you as listeners will really enjoy. Some of the things that we discovered about some people will blow your mind, and I will tell you, just wait to come. So,
man, it has been. It's been. It's interesting because this one thing we all share in common is we've all ventured from the days gone by, like the good old days. We all lived through the good old days, and so now the interviews are an attempt to kind of look at the same good old times we've been talking about, but through a different lens, and kind of seeing like, what was their experience like? What was it like for you growing up? Like that, in this particular time, what was your favorite time, or what did you drive, and all that kind of stuff. And it's been really exciting. I'm excited about that for season 2. And we've got some really great interviews that were a lot of fun to record, and we're really excited to share those with y'all.
Absolutely. Yeah. But first, let's each one of us take a second and let's just give a quick highlight of what we think was the best in our memory about the previous seasons. And as we're going through this episode, I'm going to introduce a few clips. So Steve, I'm going to start with you. Tell me, in your opinion, what going back over the last 21 episodes before this one, what stood out to you?
Yeah. So, as we talked about 1984, 1995, and 2008, it was an unintentional, unplanned progression through the calendars. But, the thing that really stood out to me is just really in, 24 years of time that we talked about how much technology advanced and how much technology became a bigger part of our lives. And whenever it first was introduced and started to become a thing, God, first, most technologically or driven thing I could think of early on in my life was my boom box that I had, and before we even had computers, and our TV was pretty cool, but you had to get up and actually walk up to it and change the channel, and then this remote control got invented. Holy cow, technology's going crazy. We learned about that in '84, and just the advancement of technology and how it's enhanced our lives. And you might argue, did it improve our lives? In many ways, yes. Did it maybe make us lazier, fatter, uglier? I don't know, maybe. but the truth is technology is grown immensely, and how it leads us through our lives. I mean, I have lights in my backyard that come on every single night via Bluetooth, and they're about to go off here in about 30 minutes, I think. So it's little nighttime atmosphere. Thank you to technology, but that's the thing that really just stood out to me, and really to me was refreshing to sort of just watch how we've advanced over the 2.5 decades.
That has been, and there's been massive, massive advancements from, we talked about 84.
The biggest one, and kind of the one that set the stage for things to come, was, and we talked about the commercial during the TV and the sports, all of those episodes, was the introduction of the Mac. Apple introduced the Macintosh at the Super Bowl that year. And it really set the standard with the mouse.
95.
And really the story is not so much the advancement in computers, but the advancement in usage of the World Wide Web. And so by the time we got to 1995, we were still very early. At that time, roughly 12 million Americans were using online services. In most cases, they were using services such as America Online. This it was new. We're not sure we really needed this. Is this something that's really going to take off? But I think as we go through this journey through technology in '95, you're going to see that the World Wide Web really sort of created the early inception of e-commerce, and in some cases, social media. And we'll even talk about some dating services that were created back in 1995. So.
In 2008.
This whole age, and I'm looking here at the top 10 apps of TikTok, and all of this age is starting to come into play, where people are starting to capture everything that they see. The smartphones are getting smarter. They're able to coordinate with their 16 gigs of memory, all of these memories, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of neat things happening, and you can definitely tell that it's moving towards what we're doing today and capturing every moment in our lives. So this year was the first year that personal laptops or portable computers outsold desktop computers.
And just the progression has been pretty remarkable. So
absolutely,
I agree with you on that one, Steve.
So Noel, what about you? Tell me a little bit about something that may have surprised or stuck out to you during the last season.
I mean, there's a lot of things that that really kind of stuck with me. I think the things that I enjoyed talking about the most. I'm business owner, so the business things are really of interest to me. But like, for example, in 1995, there were a couple of companies that we talked about that started then that are still around today, that through the years have had different impacts on just on society. When in 95, eBay and Craigslist, for example, started, and just kind of seeing where they began. eBay, one of the memories from that was the first thing that was ever sold on eBay. Do you guys remember what it was?
A broken laser pointer.
Broken laser pointer, right? And so I just thought that was really interesting. And who knows? There's probably going to be Trivial Pursuit one day, and the question's going to come up, and I'm going to slam that question down on the table. I know that, but that was interesting to me in 2008. When Amazon was started, and just look at where we are now in 2023. I mean, Steve, how many packages did you get delivered to your house last week?
5 last week.
Okay. Yeah. So, and with Amazon, I mean, it's made Christmas like so much easier. Getting things delivered to your home. I mean, during the pandemic, think about what the pandemic would have been without like something like Amazon. That has really shaped the world we live in. And so these years are being thrown out by the Wayback Time Machine at random, but I've been amazed at how every single year there's always been some big event in the business world that occurred that changed and affected the world and society that we live in. So that's been one of the things that stood out for me. Yeah.
Anyway, the next cool thing happened in July, and you'll no doubt all use this service. But in Seattle, a merchant that was headquartered in offices above a color tile dealership. And if you remember, color tile was like the big place you went to buy TVs once upon a time.
Yeah.
And so this company specialized in books, and it was inspired by the world's largest river, the Amazon.
Oh,
and
okay.
it's 1995, I believe, where Amazon started. And
So Amazon was in 95. Wow.
And I can tell you all that the Amazon delivery drivers know our address.
Oh, ours too.
Oh my God, mine too, man. Jeez.
And while we're on the topic of technology a tiny bit, I sent Noel and Keith a link to an article. I think it was Saturday night, and it was a study of the average smartphone user, so Apple, Android, whatever it is, interacts with their phone on average 344 times per day. And we all we had no idea what our count is, but we don't think it's probably far off from 344, unfortunately. So
I'm pretty sure there are days where I have brought that average up, sadly.
Yeah. So Keith, what about you?
So I kind of, it's funny, you are talking about the advancements. In some ways, one of the things that I noticed was sometimes when you have a good thing, it tends to stay a little while. And I'm thinking more of like the music. If you look at the 1984 to 1995 episodes, His Story by Michael Jackson, not only was it the largest selling double album, but it was the fourth biggest selling album of 1995. The soundtrack of Waiting to Exhale, which included Whitney Houston, Mary J. Blige, Brandy, Toni Braxton, Aretha Franklin, Chaka Khan, Patti LaBelle. I mean, lots of big names in there. So really, really good one. And then back again to 1984, the Bruce Springsteen Greatest Hits album is the number 10 best-selling album of the year. So pretty crazy. So there was a lot of continued names, even from years past, that still were putting out hit after hit after hit. So
crazy,
kind of interesting. Who were some of the best out there? Michael Jackson. You had Bruce Springsteen. There was a lot of consistency there with the people who were popular in the early 80s. And Madonna was still out there strong. Whitney Houston was a part of the 80s and 90s, and so they carried forward. So I think that was one of the things that really stuck out to me is if you've got, technology is great and innovative, but at the root of it all, it's the talent of the individual. And so or the group, right? So I love music. I kind of kicked off with the music of 84. And I guess that was kind of what I tuned into throughout the years is what has changed. As we got to 2008, Steve, you admitted that all of us have kind of gotten removed from that. But at the root of it all, it's still the talent that gets up there. And the technology is nice, but if you don't have the talent, then what's the point? So the consistency in making sure that you have talent, that's kind of what stood out to me. So really, really strong. So, and while we're at it, there's one other person we need to ask. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. With the Wayback Time Machine really should weigh in on this, I think.
I think so too. So, Wayback Time Machine, we started with a bucket of bolts with you, and we're really happy that you're here with us now. But we've evolved you. You are definitely a working technology, very well voiced, and so we'd love to hear your opinion of what you think was one of the best highlights of the previous season, of the first season.
Well, you already mentioned it. I always had a thing for that Mac.
Oh yeah, I should have.
We
should have seen it.
Was there?
Yeah, there was a little something going on. We knew it. We appreciate you admitting it. That was good.
We could hear her belts get a little tight and the tension pick up whenever he would come up. So
that's right. This poor Wayback Time Machine has to put up with a lot. So
you think?
But I tell you what, we'll be getting to hear a little bit more from her in season 2 also. So we're looking forward to that. And also thanks for giving us some really good years to start Wayback Time Machine. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice job.
You did a great job in your research. I gave you some pretty epic years to see how you do.
I was always surprised at how, we'd get a new year and be like, 1984, those something kind of stood out in that year. 1995, you got to be honest, I was like, I was so tuned into school. I was studying all the time. I mean, at the library every day, guys, y'all were there with me, right? So we were
all the time.
focused. We were bookworms during 1995. And so we didn't know what was going on in the world. And so who knew? Like, we started digging in 95. I was like, holy cow, there was a lot of really amazing stuff going on. But I've been surprised at how there's always something in every single year. Yeah, there's surprises in every year that we've looked at. So I'm excited to see what 1978's the next one coming up, and excited to see what that uncovers.
And we're absolutely doing that. We did mention the Wayback Time Machine did 1978 at the mashup part 2, but we don't. And we're at the end of this episode, we are going to let our highly technical box that Steve has draw us our topics. Yes. So before that, let's preview a little bit of season 2. And obviously we can't preview too much of what 1978 brings to us because we literally don't research until we draw. So we haven't even drawn yet, but we have a couple of really neat guests that both Noel and Steve has brought to the foray. And so those are future episodes, but Steve, Noel, I'll start with you, Steve. Tee up your special guest and something that stood out to you.
Well, first of all, our guest is somebody we've known for a long time, 30 plus years. And we learned that you can't have God without this one thing. And
That's right.
You can't have friends without this one thing. And a lot of things can't exist without this one thing.
I'm a Christian. I've read the Bible a lot. And when I think about Jesus. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm still very involved in the church world. I retired out of the church world working at mega churches. Don't you know they spend a lot of money trying to get people to just get together?
So can't wait for our listeners to hear about that.
I agree. And it's funny, ever since we have recorded that episode, that one thing has been brought up between us how many times?
A lot.
It's great. It's great. So yeah, I'm excited.
It works its way into several different conversations this past week.
It sure has. It sure has. I can't wait for y'all. But sorry, guys, you're gonna have to wait and hear that episode because it's worth it. So Noel, you also had a special guest on the podcast for a future episode. Tell me a little bit about that person and what kind of stood out to you. There's a lot of good highlights from this one.
Yeah, there really is. So I invited my pastor onto the podcast. He is a regular listener. And which is awesome. He texts me whenever he listens to one of the episodes. He's like, bro, that was funny. That took me back to a good time, back in the day. And, so we just invited him to be on the podcast, and, it was hilarious and eye-opening all at the same time. The highlight for me, I think, was, he was talking about his cartoons that he used to watch. And I will leave it there. They are the cartoons he used to watch and the cartoons he wanted to watch and wasn't allowed to watch, and the reasons he wasn't allowed to watch them.
So I'm going to tell you that my dad was a pastor, and they were the super strict, super spiritual, oversaved Christians. So my dad, the cartoon I loved was it was amazing. And my dad was in the house one day when I was watching it on a Saturday, and my dad says, well, only God has all the power in the universe, so you can't watch that. And I'm like, amazing.
Did I get that right, guys? Do y'all have anything? Did you add anything? Okay. I thought perfect. That was awesome. And y'all have to tune in for that. It was hilarious. It was funny because
really good.
It's funny because I can relate in my own life growing up. I can relate to that in a lot of different ways. But funny, so funny.
No doubt about it.
And I think having more guests is something we plan to have in the future. And so if you want to go way back with us and get a little nostalgic and think about the good old days, and hey, shoot us a line. We'll be happy to invite you on, and you got to bring your A game when you do. But no, it's no, you'll find it's a great experience, and and we'd love to have you.
We go easy on our guests. We're not rough.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, if you have other folks, other listeners, not only these question and answer sessions, but if you have something to bring to the table, oh my gosh, I know so much about this one topic. I want to explode and tell everybody about this. Come on, let's hear it, because I think the more we dig deep, the more fun it's going to be. You know, our years are kind of a summary of what's going on in certain topics, but man, let's drill down on something if something's a passion of yours. So let us know.
Yeah, sorry. Second only to hanging out with you guys and spending time just reminiscing and everything. Second to that, only second to that would be the text messages and the interaction we have with our listeners. And just, you know, like some of the people online that I don't know, maybe you guys don't know either, but just hearing those comments and feedback and stuff like that, and just the text messages that I get from people that I do know that are listening and stuff, that is awesome. I really do love that. So it's been a lot of fun, guys. I'm enjoying it and looking forward to season 2.
Yeah. Me too. So now, 2 things that we've got to do is we've got to draw our topics for 1978.
Do we have more than 3 topips, Steve?
Okay. There are still 5 in the box, but y'all seem to be disappointed no matter how many I pull out of here. So, good deal. We ready to do this?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All righty.
So 1978, right?
1978.
This is for Keith.
This is for Keith. Okay. Yeah. All righty. This topic is going to be politics / world events.
Wow. That's going to be digging deep. I don't have a clue. Sounds good.
There's a lot of polarizing events in the 70s. So
yeah, that ought to be interesting.
That could be fun. All right, Noel, you ready for yours?
I'm ready. Come on.
Oh, this is a good one for 78. Technology.
You're going to say that.
That is
man. Back to the days of punch cards and COBOL. So
and those little light bulbs or whatever.
Yeah, transistors.
Yeah, that's the word.
Good grief.
All right, and my topic, it will be something that I love to talk about, and that's music. And the 1970s was a great decade for music. And so three great topics.
Yes.
There's a good chance, like any TV or movies that we talked about in the 70s, none of us remember.
Right.
Maybe
I'm thinking Starsky and Hutch, you know. Yeah. I think it'll be an interesting one and a mashup. In fact, you know, 70s TV and movies, we should do that as a team because there's some unique stuff in there. I think that'd be kind of fun.
I like that idea.
That would be fun.
Okay. I'm pretty sure like the Lawrence Welk show was on. And
and
it was like the perfect cure for insomnia, just like soccer. And so,
could you imagine Lawrence Welk played to soccer? I'm gonna have to cue that up.
What was the dance show? You know what I'm talking about? Like
it's Soul Train.
Soul Train. There you go. Yeah. That's bound to be in
the.
Got to talk about that. So way back when we started, we talked about doing a drawing for some Wayback Chronicles swag for one of our listeners on Facebook. And so, guys, I think it's time we do our drawing.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
All right, Steve, you got the bag of names. So I'm going to let you got a bag on one side and a box on the other. This is high tech here.
Yep.
Shaking the box.
There's a lot of names here. A lot of names. We appreciate all the participation. Facebook's really been huge for us. So, all right. So the name of our swag recipient is that the official
recipient. We need a drawing.
Is there we go. Kristen Boulay.
Hey,
Kristen, a former Texas Tech alum. So awesome! Congratulations, Kristen.
Congratulations, Kristen, and thanks for being a Wayback. What do we call our people on this? A
Waybacker.
A Waybacker.
I don't know.
Wayback.
A little close.
We haven't figured that out yet.
We will figure that out. But 345 members strong as of today. So thanks to each and every one of you for listening in and following along, and your interactions has been a blast.
We still don't know what to call you yet.
No, we'll figure that out. That might be a poll we have to run. Steve.
There you go.
Yeah.
Steve is our Wayback Chronicles Facebook guru, so we may have to run a poll and get some votes on what we need to call our nation of folks. So anyway, but that wraps up our recap and preview of what's to come. So season 1 is in the books officially. Can't wait for our first interview for season 2 to tee us off, and then we will jump into the topics of 1978. So with that, Noel and Steve, this has been a fun ride, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Yep.
Enjoying it. It's not over yet.
Enjoying it. That's right.
Yes.
It's many fun things to come. So
Yes.
everybody take care, and we will talk to you in the very near future in season 2.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Wayback Chronicles. All shows are written and produced by Noel, Keith, and Steve. Massive thanks to those who made these memories possible for us through the years. All songs, sounds, and effects have been attributed in the comments section and through links listed on waybackchronicles.podbean.com. We look forward to taking you way back again in the very near future. Hey there, I'm so glad you stayed all the way to the end. By popular demand and for your listening pleasure, I give you the greatest of Noel's singing. Now, brace yourselves for greatness.
No, feel free to sing at any time.
No, I'm not.
Some of our listeners are waiting for that moment, Noel. So don't let them down. We need our downloads.
Do not disappoint.
I'm a private dancer. Do what you want to. Yeah. Like that?
What's love got to do? Got to do with it. What's love but a second-hand emotion? Come. You come and go.
Oh, hello. Looking for. Jump. Reflex. Flex.
Girls just wanna have fun. I love you. It's the Christian, it's the time. Go.
Sorry.
Raspberry berry.
Little pink houses. You and me.
Oh, I creep.
I'm a creep. Yeah.
The creeping is something else. Blah, blah.
I really don't know all the
The
words.
words. So I creep. Yeah.
That's the only one I know.
Kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the one I get of you, the thing that I feel the air. Yeah. This is how we do it. It's Friday night.
Something.
Oh, yeah.
We probably should get lyrics. I only want to be with you. That one. Here comes the hot stepper. I'm a miracle gangster. That one. Here comes the hot stepper. And I'm not singing Mariah Carey. I don't even care how much.
Had to
you pay
get
me.
castrated for that.